good time, spring, to bring them back and really have a nice platform to have discussion, share tips and tricks, and just have some fun on a Monday night. So some house standards and how we're going to kind of do our agenda tonight. So we'll, with our content, go for about 45 minutes. And then we want to open up the floor. So we want to have discussion and hear how things are going for you all. If you have questions, feel free to load them into the chat. And we do have some moderators, and they're going to kind of, if they can answer a question in real time, they'll do it right in the chat. If you have other questions, hang on to them until the end, because we might actually answer them in one of the slides. The chat feature, I'll show you how to use that in just a second. And we also encourage you, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, if you're on your computer, we encourage you to have volunteer connection open up that tab. So if you want to take a moment and do that, that will be helpful, because we have some opportunities to kind of do a little bit of learning and some things in volunteer connection. We are recording, so if you have to leave early, if you have another commitment or anything like that, we will share out the video in the next couple of days with the documents and the presentation. And again, if you cannot log into Teams or you have issues, there is a call-in number as well. Let any of us know here in the chat, or just speak up, raise your hand, and we can help you with any technical issues. You don't have to be on camera. I see a couple people on camera. I think we're going to be okay with 33 attendees. If you're on camera and want to stay on camera, totally fine. No problem with that. As you put things into the chat, if it says guest, that's okay. Don't worry about that. You're supposed to be here. Only individuals who have a Red Cross email, who are administrative volunteers, it's going to say their full name in the chat. So don't stress out if it says guest. You are where you need to be. This is what Microsoft Teams should look like for most folks. I do realize that it looks a little bit different in some of the Apple products. For the most part, what you do have, and you can kind of explore, there will be a little chat dialog box here. We'll call on you a few times to use the raise your hand feature. There is also little reactions here. This toolbar might also kind of be on the bottom of your screen as well. And when you click on the chat box, it should take you down here where you can enter things into the chat. If you don't have the chat, go ahead.
The screen just shows the July 1st through 14th Gooder Glasses promotion. Is it supposed to be changing? You're showing other things.
Okay, yeah. What are folks seeing? Maybe there's a little bit of a glitch. Is anybody else seeing a different screen?
No, I'm seeing your housekeeping screen, Casey.
Okay. So Krista, maybe just log out and log back in. It might be frozen on a screen that I was on.
Yeah, okay, I will. Thank you.
Yep. Good call. But this is kind of what Microsoft Teams should look like. If you don't have the chat features or things like that, don't stress out. Sometimes if you're just on the web version and don't have the full download, you may not have all of the access to these emojis and things like that. So not a big deal. You can kind of keep track at home with those features. We are your team. This is us. Last summer, we'll call it our retreat. We all got together, and this is Kuka Lake in PENN, which stands for Pennsylvania Yankee, which is kind of cool. So we got together, and if people wanna, on this team, feel comfortable, wanna come on camera and just give a wave, we have Sylvia out of Rochester. Myself, I'm over here in the eastern part of the state, which is absolutely drenched right now and miserable. But that's okay, we'll soldier on. And then we have Ellen, who is our intrepid leader and supervisor. Chris Alexich, who I think I see on the call, who's in Jersey, and she is our divisional manager in very high level meetings this week in Jersey. Aaron Wilson to my west in Syracuse, and also Carrie Brooks west out in Buffalo. So we are your service team. We are here to equip and empower you all. And this is a breakdown on our territories. These are basically administrative territories. You can obviously serve anywhere. And what I mean by that is you can support counties in Aaron's area, my area. You can cross over anywhere in the state. We have individuals. Has anybody picked up a shift in another state? You know, Pennsylvania, anywhere else? So this is kind of our breakdown on what we cover, but we share, so to speak, a lot of volunteers. And there might be times where someone reaches out to you and they're not your quote unquote supervisor, but you're filling a drive in their community, in their territory. This is also a good opportunity to just call out that you want to make sure you have all of your counties in your profile. And if you have your volunteer connection open or you're opening it, it's under my profile, and then there's a biomedical services tab. And also any of us can help you add those counties to your profile as well. We want to make sure that you have access to everything that you need. We thought it would be very impactful to start the evening with a mission moment. And I could not think of anyone better than Krista to talk with us tonight. And in just a moment, I'll have her introduce herself. Krista I am honored to have her on my team as a donor ambassador. She's been with us for several years. And I just remember when I interviewed you, your story just was very touching and it was very moving. And I was just so inspired by the fact that you wanted to volunteer. So with that being said, I would like to give you the floor just to kind of tell your story a little bit.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. It's a good thing you can't see all the cat hair I currently have. For my choosing to be donor ambassador in October of 2018, I was training for the Syracuse half marathon. I was on a long distance training run, and a little over a half mile, an erratic driver hit me at about 50 miles an hour. In that whole ordeal, I had several transfusions, which made quite a difference as I was coming back around. And many things change, and it's been quite the journey. I am no longer able to give anymore like I previously had, and felt that the best way to continue to be able to support what we were doing was to be at the blood drives and help people check in and let them know how grateful we are that they are giving their time, and make sure they have all the best snacks when they were done.
That is awesome. And if you don't mind my asking, having been a donor before and a recipient, has there been anything as a volunteer that has sort of surprised you, or kind of seeing things behind the curtain that have, sort of opened your eyes a little bit more?
Realizing how much more goes into the event that than you see when you're there. I think probably that's a good thing for somebody who's giving their time, but there is a lot of moving parts and pieces that you wouldn't see unless you were a volunteer on that side of the process.
Well, we are so grateful to have you. Thank you for being here. And I'm so glad that it's worked out as an opportunity. And we love having you in Washington County and Warren County. It's just so awesome to see how involved you are. So thank you for being on tonight, and feel free to hang out if you want. But if you have other things to do, feel free to drop. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
And if you have a mission moment or know of anybody who might have a mission moment for the next meeting or another meeting, let your representative know, let your volunteer rep know, and we'd be Thrilled to hear that. Hey, let's have some fun. This doesn't have to be an official agenda tonight. So hopefully my slide updates in just a second. It looks like it's thinking. So we're going to do a little trivia. And this is an opportunity to try out the chat and also some of the emojis and GIFs, whatever we want to call them. So moderators or co-hosts, what are you seeing on your screen? Because it looks like mine is thinking, but not all the way there
the green screen.
Green screen, yeah. Your basic green screen.
Well, teal, whatever color. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Hey, there we go. The miracle of technology. All right, so we're going to do a little trivia, Red Cross trivia. Put your thinking caps on. Hopefully you read your volunteer handbook when you onboarded. If not, no worries. But let's get started. I'll give you a few minutes. I wish we had a little bit of Jeopardy music. If you don't have the chat feature, just keep track at home, right? Put it on a notepad. So first, how many? And Carrie pointed out something very good at the beginning. We're called the New York Penn region. It's a little bit of a misnomer. We actually just have one Pennsylvania county. So we love that county, but we're New York Penn, but we're pretty much primarily New York. So Carrie, thank you for pointing that out. So how many donor ambassador volunteers do we have in New York Penn, our one Pennsylvania county? Start loading your guesses in the chat. And we'll see who comes closest. Karen says 385. Still not getting a presentation display. Karen, if you're not getting the presentation display, there should be, we attached an agenda. I can also attach it in the chat here so you can kind of follow along. So let me add that. Krista says 265. Lori says 400 volunteers. Mia says 525. Actually, since I'm a horrible multitasker, would one of my co-moderators add the most recent slides into the chat as an attachment? All right, 3, 2, 1. Closest guess that I see so far is Mia Hubbard. Actual retail price is 797 volunteers on the biomed team out at blood drives. So Mia gets maximum points there on that one. Next question. How many shifts are filled currently in May in New York Penn? How many shifts do we have filled? Shout out to Sylvia because this was her recommended slide. Oh, Lori Galen, that's 90%. Oh, a number, like how many shifts? And Chris, our divisional manager, says just over 1,300 blood drive volunteers for the New England division. Wow. Richard thinks we have 50 shifts filled. Krista says 45. Mia, 200. Karen with 1,047. Donna Crone, hey, how's it going? 175. The answer is we have 731 shifts currently filled. However, that's 92%. There are 787 total. So there's about 50 shifts out there floating around. Feel free to pull up your volunteer connection. If you need it, you want another shift, we got about 55 that are still open. So the answer was 731. All right, next question. What is the longest tenure of any volunteer on our New York Penn donor ambassador team? Longest tenure. Very curious what people say. Richard, nice to see you, 45 years. Sky says 25 years. 34. From Lori, 34 from Karen. It's higher, folks. It's higher. We'll go 3. We'll go 2. We'll go 1. Not sure if she's on the call, but it is 61 years for Sylvia Diamond, who is based out of the Binghamton area. So huge shout out to Sylvia for that. That is an amazing tenure. Absolutely incredible. I was shocked by this answer when I got it from our divisional manager. I did not know the number. Well, I'm not going to give it away. How many units did we collect in April? Platelets, plasma, power reds, whole blood. How many units did we collect? Richard says 10,000. And again, this is New York, our New York PENN territory. Karen says 8240, 8247. Mia, says 9,872. I'll give you a hint. It's up there. Justin says 11,000. We're going to give the answer, lock in your final answer. Ready? 24,816. 19,000 of which were power reds. I was floored. I did not know our numbers were that high. That was incredible. And March was even higher than that. I think it was 25,000 or 26,000. So thank you all for being at those drives and facilitating the collection of that blood. All right, this might be a little bit of a gimme for certain people. Where was the first chapter of the American Red Cross in the United States? Where was it? And someone keep me honest, is it still there? I think it is. So Penn Yan.
Yes, it is still there.
Nice. Dansville. Well, it's Dansville, which is what, about 45 minutes south of Rochester? Kind of in that area?
Correct. And they just did a refurb and a mural on the end of the building. Looks absolutely wonderful. Well worth the journey.
I was going to say, that could be a field trip. That could be incredible. Oh, nice. Sylvia dropped a picture of it. Oh, looks very quaint. Yeah. Nice. And what percentage of age-eligible population donates per year? And Jeopardy music in the background. Dun, 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 dun. 12%, 1%, 7%, 29%, 15%. 30%, 23%, 21%. Lock in those final answers. The actual answer is 3% of the eligible population donates. So we have a lot of ground to make up there for sure. What we've seen a lot is many of the older donors from sort of that greatest generation and their children, the baby boomers, are starting to slow down a little bit on donation. And we're just really working on efforts to get more, not only new donors, but consistent rotating donors into the system for sure. All right, so keep your scores at home. Let us know how you all did. We'll look at some of the answers there, and we'll move on to the next item. Again, we want to welcome everybody to the call, whether you've been here for 30, 40, 60 years, or if you are new to our team. We have 114 new volunteers that have joined since January, which is incredible. 101 of them are blood drive donor ambassador volunteers. We've also had 13 administrative volunteers join as well. Just want to take a moment to thank you for choosing the Red Cross. We fully realize there's hundreds, if not thousands, of other charities, humanitarian organizations out there. And for you to dedicate your time to the Red Cross is amazing. I also recognize many of you participate with other organizations. Many people on my team volunteer for other charities as well, other nonprofits. So thank you for your time and your talent. And with that being said, let's do a little bit more audience participation in any way that you can. If you've been here for less than a year, raise a hand, do a little thumbs up with the react, put your name if you want to in the chat, and where you're located if you are new with us. So it looks like we got a couple people. And feel free to do this in the chat so we can kind of see who's all in the virtual room if you want to follow my lead there. So less than a year, looks like we got a handful of people, maybe between 5 and 10 people in that range. And let's go now, individuals who are 1 to 5 year range. Put a hand up for a couple seconds, put a thumbs up. We got Lisa, we got Linda, Karen. There's a lot of people in that 1 to 5 year range. Deb Harridan. Yeah, put the hand up for a few seconds and then you can put it down with the lower hand function. Karen for 4 years. Justin, 1.5 years. Excuse me. Leslie Baker. All right, how about individuals who are in the 5 to 10 year range? Drop it in the chat. Oh, we got a lot here. Mia. Drop those in, introduce yourself in the chat. It's just fun to see where everybody is around the state as well. There's so many towns that I'm just like not familiar with. All right. And I guess I should raise my hand for that one. 9 years in June. And if you are in the double digit club and you are above 10 years, raise a hand, give a thumbs up, put your name in the chat. We got Lori, we got Deb Harridan at the 5 year mark. 8 years with 25 years of running drives. Yeah, and some of you started, you were community volunteers before, so your tenure for many of you is longer. You just weren't quote unquote official, so to speak, and part of the official team. So great, this is wonderful. And then let's just finish out here. If you're, we got people in the chat. Again, this is your call. Maybe make a little word cloud for the next meeting. In a word or two, what attributes or aspects do you just love about volunteering or enjoy? What keeps you here? What are some words that come to mind? Drop them in the chat. We'll give you a few seconds on that. Chatting with donors, helping, connections. And someone posed a good question the other day. They said, what drives you, Casey? Purpose or passion? And I was like, that's a really good question. And I lean towards purpose, feeling useful, of service to others. So that supersedes passion. Talking with people, helping, love talking to the donors. Yeah, if you've got the gift of gab, isn't this like the best role? Chatting with donors, meeting people. Yeah, saving lives, right, Nermeen? Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, feel free to keep dropping things in there. Very nice. And with that, I am going to, you don't have to listen to me until Q&A now. I'm going to pass the virtual mic to Sylvia Whittish to talk about promos and incentives. And I will turn the mic over to you. And if your hand is up, there should be a lower hand. So you can lower your hand. So Sylvia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Casey. I love to see how excited people are, to telling us about how long they've been with us, where are they from, and what they love about volunteering. We love this participation. So today, yes, like Casey said, I am here to tell you about the upcoming donor promotion. So for those who maybe are new and not sure what this is, so the Red Cross likes to offer incentives for donors throughout the year, usually on times where maybe donations slow down a little bit, around the holidays especially. So throughout the year, there's some different incentives, which I'm going to show you which ones are upcoming. And sometimes when there isn't an incentive like a material item, there's still other ways that we incentivize donations through gift cards or raffles or different things like that. So let's get to the next slide, Casey, and let's go over the first one. So this month, the month has already started, but from May 1st to 18th, all donors will receive a $20 e-gift card via email, and they will also be entered into a raffle to win a trip around the United States or somewhere in the United States for 2 people. So a lot of the volunteers that I work with have mentioned how the donors tell them, hey, I donated last time, I didn't get my gift card. So I do have some tips for you guys if this happens to you. The first thing is to tell the donors to check their spam folder. The gift card doesn't come from a Red Cross email address. It comes from another email address, another server. So ask them to check their spam folder. And if they find the email, they can move it into their inbox. And once they do that once, they'll never have an issue with that again. I myself, I am able to be a blood donor as well. So I've had that issue. So I'm talking from experience 100%. Once you find that email in your junk folder, you click on it, then you'll be able to request the gift card, or sometimes you can even choose to donate it back to the American Red Cross. But if you choose your gift card, then you'll be receiving another email, usually in a couple of weeks, so you can select what store you want it from. And there's dozens, if not hundreds, to choose from. I've also had a situation where I never got the email, and I checked my spam folder, and I didn't find it. So I actually called the Red Cross customer care. They were very helpful, and they were able to verify that I had donated blood within the days of the campaign, and they sent me the email as well. So if people have a hard time finding the email, even on their junk folder, tell them, call the Red Cross. They'll be able to help you. Again, I am talking from experience. So that is the incentive, $20 e-gift card from May 1st to the 18th. Casey, let's go to the next slide. For the remaining of May, we are now talking about the Memorial Day campaign. So this is going to be from May 19th to the 31st. Anybody that comes to donate blood will earn a Red Cross solar lantern. Plus, they'll also still get the chance to win the U.S. strip of choice for them and their guests. So if you have been with us for a few years, you might have noticed that we have a whole outdoors camping theme going on with our incentives. So we want to, offer practical gifts, practical items that represent the Red Cross, but that you can enjoy. Well, you want and anybody who donates blood can enjoy throughout the summer. So we had like beach towels and mugs and I can't remember what else we had last year, but we are continuing with that theme. So May 19th to the 31st, anybody who donates blood, whole blood, platelets, plasma will earn one of these really cool solar lanterns. All right, let's go to the next slide. June 1st to the 30th, the whole month of June, there will be we're going back to an e-gift card incentive. So donors will be eligible to receive a $15 gift card of their choosing via email as well. Next slide. Perfect. So for July, Independence Day is always a time where, unfortunately, donations do go down for people maybe camping or traveling or whatever it may be. So there is a really cool new incentive. It's a new partnership with a company, I believe it's pronounced Gooder, which is this really cool brand of sunglasses. They are not cheap sunglasses. They're really, really good quality. So this is a really good partnership that the Red Cross has created. So anybody who donates blood July 1st to the 14th will earn one of these exclusive Red Cross and Goodar sunglasses. Let's see, let's go to the next one. So finally, if anybody has been with us for a while, I can't remember if it was last year, I'm pretty sure, maybe the year before, we had an extremely successful campaign from a partnership with Peanuts. So we are doing that again. Labor Day campaign is going to be from August 29 to the 21st. Anybody who donates blood will earn an exclusive Red Cross and Peanuts t-shirt. We do not have a graphic of that yet, but when we have it, all the reps will be sharing it. We know it was very successful last year or the last time. Everybody wanted a t-shirt, so we anticipate it's going to be the same this year. So we the moment we have it, we'll be sharing it with you guys so you can also start promoting this campaign as well. There's a graphic on the chat, somebody, Casey put it, from the last design. And so I'm really excited to see what the next one will be. Now, just as a reminder, these are donor incentives. They are um, they are for donors, anybody who donates blood. And I know sometimes there's been times where we are also able to share this with you as volunteers. We cannot make any guarantees or promises. Some of the items are definitely more popular than others. So do not take a gift or an incentive at the blood drive, especially without asking first the charge. They may have leftovers, they may not. So, please don't assume that you can just take one or more. If you want one, you can let your rep know, hey, Casey, I really like this one. If there's any leftovers, please let me know. And if we have them after the campaign is over, we, of course, will be, happy to share with you. But again, we cannot make any promises or guarantees because these are incentives for donors. I think that is all my part. So I am going to pass this on to Carrie.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm going to talk a little bit about best practices when you are actually out at the blood drives and working with our donors. I noticed that many people put in the chat that your favorite part of volunteering as a blood donor ambassador is chatting with, meeting, interacting with the donors. So hopefully this will be useful information for everybody. When we are greeting people at the registration desk, when they are signing in, it's very important that they self-register as much as possible. We are operating as Red Cross staff and volunteers. We are operating in a regulated environment. There are rules that we have to comply to in regards to that. So the best way to facilitate that is to have the laptop facing the donor and assist them if needed, but encourage them to fill out all the information that they must type in if they have to by themselves. And we want to emphasize that your customer service, your welcoming spirit as people are coming into the drive, those are all still vital to the drive. Even if people are checking themselves in at the computer, they may still have questions. They're still benefited by having a human there to interact with them and to thank them for coming. So it's still a very important part of your responsibilities. The best way to register donors or get them checked in is through the donor ID card. They may have a physical ID card. Most of the time we have they can access it on the app. If they don't have the app already and they're tech savvy and able to get the app, I highly recommend it. There's a ton of great information on there, including the donor card that they can use. You can also scan a license or ID. As we know, there may be some issues with the barcode on that, so that just takes a little bit more navigation, and that's why the donor ID card is really ideal. One thing to keep in mind is that if they have done the rapid pass will not scan at this step. You'll be able to tell if it's the rapid pass because it's the square QR code rather than the rectangular barcode. That they need to hang on to, and staff will scan it during the medical history step. We also may have donors who don't have standard identification. If that's the case, there is an acceptable ID list at the website listed, and we will also be sending that along with the recording. And don't hesitate to ask the charge if you need help with that as well. We want to try to do what we can to have somebody donate if they're able. So if we can get them in with the ID that we have, we want to do our best to do that. We can go to the next slide, please. So in line with what I was just saying, it's important to stay in communication with the blood drive staff. When you get to the drive, introduce yourself. Even if they haven't had an opportunity to come up to you yet, go ahead and introduce yourself to them, find out who the charge is that day. And the charge is really the best person for you to direct all your questions to. That way you're getting consistent answers from the same person. If you have a donor, or rather before we have donors coming in, the best thing to do right at the beginning is to ask if we can accommodate walk-ins. So ask the charge right away when you have that initial conversation. That way you have your mindset for how you can handle walk-in donors throughout the day. And if you run into a situation where you're not able to accommodate a walk-in, there's actually tools that you can use to help that donor identify another opportunity for them to donate. So for example, you could use the redcrossblood.org website and pull up a list of blood drives that are coming up. This is a screenshot of that website. If you go to that website, you can search per zip code. So you could always search by the zip code near you and find a list of all the blood drives coming up. If there's one that same day, or if there are any coming up in the next few days, you can direct people that way. And you can also encourage them to make an appointment so that way they're not in the same boat again when they get to the new drive. Next slide, please. In line with what we were saying earlier about communication, be sure to communicate clearly with the donors. Explain what you're doing. If they hand you, if you're helping them scan their license and it's not scanning and you need to cover up one barcode, explain that so they're not confused about what you're doing with their license. If you need to ask a staff member a question about a walk-in or anything like that, tell the donor that you're going to talk to the staff. If you need to look at the appointment list and figure out if you can accommodate a walk-in, say, okay, I'm just going to take a look at the list. Be very, very clear about every step of what you're doing to the donor, because you might have a mental sense of what you're doing and you might know the steps you need to go through. But the donor may be new, or it may have been a while since they donated, or they just may have never had whatever situation it is happen before. So we want to be really clear so that they don't feel left out or ignored. We want to make sure they know what you're doing. We also want to make sure we're advising about wait times, especially if they're a little late to their appointment. They might end up having to wait longer, or maybe there's a day where the staff are really behind or they're short-staffed and there's going to be a longer wait time. Be transparent about that. Offer them a snack or a juice or a water while they're waiting, and be sure to answer any questions or check in on them as needed if they're waiting for a long time. Please keep in mind that you are the eyes and the ears on both the registration area and the canteen. So it's important to help donors while they're checking in and making sure they have everything they need, but it's equally important to make sure that donors are recovering well in the canteen. Donors' wellness can change very quickly. They may be feeling okay after they get off the bed, and they might come sit down and suddenly not be feeling well anymore. So we need to be keeping an eye on those changes and alerting the staff right away. It's also a good opportunity to chat with donors in the canteen, and you can help them schedule their next appointment. If you have the Book Now tablet available at your drive, it's quick and easy for them, and that way they can get it all set and they don't have to worry about it until the next drive. Please remember to complete your post-shift surveys. You will be getting the post-shift surveys either in a text or an email, and they'll be sent the Friday after your shift. That way, if you do multiple shifts in a week, you're not getting a whole bunch of emails, which I'm sure you probably all do already, but at least less emails. So please keep an eye out for those and fill those out. That information does come directly to us, and it's very, very helpful for us to know what you're experiencing at the drives. It's the way that we can help you if we know what's going on. And just one last note here, very important, maintain donor privacy. A very big one recently has been, do not ask donors why they were deferred. If they offer that information to you, I would try to have keep that conversation kind of quiet and private, but don't ask. We never want to ask donors what happened, because there's a variety of reasons. If they were deferred, you can just offer them a snack or a water or whatever on the way out, and it doesn't even have to be a conversation. If you have an appointment, a printed appointment list, please keep that either turned over, or if you have it inside a folder, anything just to keep that donor information as private as possible. And any questions that you aren't 100% sure on, or any questions that are related to eligibility, medical issues, anything like that, please defer to the staff, especially if somebody is already set and they're already checked in and waiting to donate. They will all get an opportunity to talk to a staff member when they're having their medical history. So they will all have a chance to ask those questions. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, maybe not the most exciting part of the night, but remember to have fun. And like we said, everybody had great reasons for why you like to volunteer. So bring that energy, be yourself, enjoy the experience, meet the donors. They're amazing people. And as I'm sure you all know, and yeah, be a lifesaver. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Erin now.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Aaron. We're going to go over some customer service reminders. You might be wondering why I chose a picture of a server at a restaurant for customer service. Well, great question. I think it's easy for us all to relate to customer service in a restaurant setting, and I think those experiences can easily translate to what we do at blood drives. Now, let's take a moment and visualize. Let's imagine the last time you went out to eat. Did you have a positive experience or a negative one? If you answered negative, let's think of some reasons why that might be the case. When we go out to eat, there's some things that usually happen. We're usually welcomed right away by the host. We're asked if we have a reservation, and then depending on the wait, we are shown to our table. Our server then greets us at our table, takes our order, checks in on us, and then we pay and leave. Now imagine the following, all right? Continuing to use our imagination. The host at the host stand was on their phone. When they look up from their phone, they proceed to huff, give you an attitude for interrupting their texting or whatever it was that they were doing. And then the host tells you there's a 20-minute wait, but when you look around the restaurant, there are many open tables. You don't understand why there is a wait and when it seems to be so slow. And when you finally are seated at your table, it takes your server 10 minutes to greet you. Then they forget to bring you their water and the free bread basket, and they never once make eye contact with you or smile at you while you're there. I think we can all agree that this would make for a pretty negative experience. So how does this imagined scenario translate to what we do at blood drives? Next slide, please. So there's some tips. There's some ways that this translates. The first one is all eyes are on you. Remember, you are always on display. You are the first person our donors see when they come into blood drive. So greet them. If you can, if you feel like it, smile at them, make them feel welcomed. It's okay to bring homework or knitting or another project with you to blood drives to occupy you when it's slow, but remember to always be aware of who's coming in and who's at canteen. Number 2, if there's a wait, educate. If there's a wait, educate our donors about the donor app and how to make an appointment. Much like going to a restaurant and seeing a bunch of empty tables, donors may wonder why there is such an urgent need to give blood if they aren't able to donate right away. Explain to them the importance of making an appointment and put a positive spin on it. Let them know that we have had a positive turnout today, but we will do our best to accommodate them if possible. Work with the day of drive staff, work with the charge, and see if there's room on the schedule to accept walk-ins. Thank them for coming in and offer them a beverage while they wait. It's always important to stay hydrated, especially before donating blood. Number 3, canteen is a top priority. Keep your eyes on canteen. It is so important that we deliver exceptional customer service to our donors after they give blood. We want to make sure they feel safe to go home, and we don't want anyone to faint on their way out the door or start bleeding. Remember, keep your eyes and ears on them, provide snacks, water, and juice, and chat with them. Thank them for donating and make them feel appreciated. Number 4, positivity goes a long way. Remember to always stay positive. You are the first and last face our donors see. Stay kind and friendly even when you don't feel like it. Act the way you would like to be greeted. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay. Take 5 minutes, step outside, get some fresh air, recuperate, then come back. Thank our donors for coming in. Make everyone feel greeted and appreciated. We can't accomplish the life-saving mission of the Red Cross without the generosity of donors and the hard work of volunteers like you. And when all else fails, when you can't turn a negative situation into a neutral or even a positive one, give them the customer care number. This number gives them the opportunity to speak with a professional customer service representative from the Red Cross who can hopefully aid them in whatever situation they're having. That number is 1-855-210-1278. All right, back over to Casey.
Fantastic. All right, that is wonderful. Great job, team. Really good content. And I'm also going to give us a pat on the back because we're doing really well on time. Nice job. So we want to open up the floor. Oh, and one thing that I just wanted to add to what Aaron said, ideal number of thank yous for a donor, 4. Thanked by the volunteer when they come in, thanked by the collections person when they go back to health history, thanked when they get off the bed, and then thanked by the volunteer again on the way out the door. 4, pretty cool. So now the floor is everyone's to ask questions. We're happy to go in the hot seat. I will put a qualifier out there. Just be conscious of your questions and the audience here. If it's something that is like super specific to a drive, we may just defer you to your volunteer rep to talk about that. But if you think it's something that's going to be ideal for the greater good, put it out there, and we're happy to accommodate that. So hands, questions, you can come off mute. I thought I saw a hand, maybe from Sharon.
Hi, Casey. We got the email about the hand warmers so that they could, get proper results in medical. Every blood drive I've gone to, I've asked about them, and not one staff, none of the staff in charge say, yeah, you're going to do that. They all say, no, we're going to take care of it, or it's getting too warm now, we don't need them. So I just wanted to know where we all stood as volunteers on that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that is good. That is good feedback. I don't have the answer. I might see if Ellen or Chris might want to chime in on that. Not to put you on the spot, but might you have any insights on that?
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is that we passed along direction that we were asked to pass along. It's obviously something that may, on the day of a particular supervisor or charge decides to set it up or handle it a certain way. But if I could ask you to offline of this meeting, let your rep know like what areas you've been volunteering in, and we can make a connection with collection staff in that area and just kind of give that feedback anonymously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I thought I saw another hand.
Casey, there is a question in the chat. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. It says, can donors have juice or snacks before they donate? Wouldn't that spike their sugar levels and cause them to be deferred?
We would want individuals to have food in their belly and fluid in their belly. Obviously not massive quantities, but it's better for someone to have water and food in their system. So sometimes if someone comes in and they're pounding a coffee and they did a 5-mile run that morning and they haven't had anything to eat, I will sometimes tell them, you may want to reconsider a day where you're not coming in here potentially dehydrated, obviously letting them make that decision for themselves. But no, we do want folks to have some calories in the system ahead of time and some water. And water in the belly is good, but yeah, just not not like forcing a bunch of stuff into the stomach. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
Casey, may I?
Yes.
When they come in, a lot of times they will go directly over to the snack table, the donors, and grab a water or a snack while they're waiting to go in. We don't test their glucose levels, so that's not going to make a difference. They may test that at the back end, but we're not testing it at the front end. That's not going to cause them to be deferred. The things that cause them to be deferred mostly are blood pressure, low hematocrit or low iron, or if they've taken medications within the time period that they shouldn't have. But having something off of our snack table is never going to cause them to be deferred.
Yep. Thank you for getting into the specifics on that actual question. That is fantastic. And Leslie, your hand was up. Was that you before? Because I didn't see who the person was who asked that question.
Yes, that's me.
Hey.
I do have a question. You just put out a number for a customer care number, and I have in my phone contacts a client support number, which is different from the one that you just put up. Are they one in the same? Is that the same service, or are we using a different number now? Or
I think that there's more than one that will get you to the same place, but if someone knows better than I'm going to yield that answer and write it down on my notes.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Who's correct?
That either one of those numbers would get you to the right place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So either one. Thank you.
Yeah, because go ahead.
No, I just said thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Good question. Marion Ford.
Good evening. This is in reference to donors going over to the snack table. I would also encourage us to ask donors who are walking in if they've had anything to eat or drink for the day, because they are now just walking in. So maybe they didn't eat anything, and then encourage them to eat something before giving.
I appreciate that feedback. Yep. And you may even hear from some people they feel better on an empty stomach. Again, we're just giving general guidance.
Yes.
Having fluid and sugar in your blood is going to be good for most people, but some people I know like to donate when they're fasting.
Right.
So we can only give general guidance.
Yes.
Well, piggybacking on that, if you do the same blood drives, and we all tend to do the same blood drives over and over and over again, you start knowing which people do need that and which people shouldn't have that. So, if somebody comes in and you know that they usually have a problem, you might say to them, "Did you eat?
Yeah.
Did you have lunch?"
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
True. That is true. And the people that need a bottle of water, I know I'm one that needs a bottle of water for sure. Good point. And it's also, I would imagine, something that you could, work into that friendly, greeting conversation as people are walking in. Sure.
And I usually, just as a general rule, I'll have some waters at registration because, I mean, frankly, probably 80% of the population at any given time is dehydrated. Let's be honest. We all probably don't drink enough water. So I usually put a few waters at check-in if, canteen's kind of a little bit a ways away.
That's a good point.
Just another thing related to customer, one fine point I wanted to put on customer service, the call line. This is a good firewall for you too, because it allows you, it's totally fine for you to send me a one-page email about an experience of a donor. Quite frankly, it is better for that individual to speak directly to customer care. It will get logged. It will go up the chain of command. I'll certainly, or any of the reps on here, will get the information where it needs to go. But we want that documented so that there can be follow-up, and we'll always be willing to have conversations and coachable moments with colleagues and phlebotomists if needed. But it is best if they can communicate that directly, because then we're not having to parse out information and kind of ride the contours of who said what, someone was rude, this, that, or the other. So I just want to add that in regards to the customer care line. You could say, well, I can relay this to my volunteer manager, but actually here's a number. Call that number, and that will really get to where it needs to go. So I just want to throw that out there.
Casey, there was a question in the chat about donor cards. Lisa was asking, that if donor cards are not provided anymore and the app digital donor card is preferred. So that is definitely the case. If somebody asks for a donor card, we tell them to call customer care, but the app is definitely the way to go. Not just for their donor card, which scans very easily without any issues, but all the different tools and resources that they can use from the donor app, including tracking where their donation went, keeping track for their rewards as donors, being able to make or change appointments, getting your health history. You can actually see the results of some of your tests, including your hemoglobin levels, throughout all your donations. So just a little bit of extra health information that they can keep on their app. So highly encouraged. I know some donors download it themselves, and then if there's a conversation, they show it to them. This is what it looks like, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know." So if you have the ability to do that, do it on your phone as well, so you can show and educate people.
And Ellen, you put in no more new paper donor cards?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Within the last year, we're going in that direction. Yep.
I did have somebody at my last drive who had just downloaded one, though. They directed him to I don't know exactly what they did, but he called the 1-800 number and they directed him to be able to download a paper app.
Paper, okay.
A paper donor card, which he then laminated himself.
Okay.
Okay.
Which may be the case. It may be that they're like creating and sending a PDF that the person.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the traditional little pre-laminated. Yeah, and that's great.
So that's all I cared.
Yep, but we're not. People used to get like the little, the little actual.
It's not
right.
Actual plastic.
Card.
Yeah.
I have a best practice for you.
Throw it out there.
When people come in the door, I mean, generally it's not the first 1 or 2 donors because that's going to end up taking too much time unless they're a little bit before the drive has opened. But as soon as they walk in the door, we greet them and then we ask them if they have done their rapid pass. If they have not, the next question out of our mouth is, do you have the app on your phone? And if they do, then we request them to open it and do the rapid pass right on their phone. And if they don't, we ask them if they want to download it. It only takes a few moments, and then you'll have it all right there on your phone for the future. And if they really don't want to download, I've had a few people who are just like, no, I don't want to put anything on my phone. Okay, well, scan this QR code and you'll be able to do. And then when you get to the end, stop, come back to me, and we'll take a picture of your QR code so that there's no chance of it getting lost between now and when you go into health history. So we'll have them do a screenshot.
I like that. That is a really good tip. And you also
if they don't know how to do a screenshot, grab your phone and take a picture of it, and then they can just have it scanned from your phone when they go over.
I love the innovation. I love it.
We lose signal a lot out here.
Oh,
I can imagine.
Oh, so you gotta capture it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nermeen has a question.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say there are a couple questions about the rapid pass.
Yeah, let me. You want to see if I can just answer it in one line of thought? Rapid pass is not required. Rapid pass is highly encouraged. It can save them anywhere from 8, 10, 12 minutes. It is a large number of the health history questions. It is best done ahead of the drive, the morning of. It can be done the morning of the drive. That's not to say that when they arrive, if there's a line or there's a little bit of a wait, they can start it and complete it with the phlebotomists. So it's not something that's mandatory, but it makes things move along quicker. It gets people in and out quicker. And when we're talking about saving lives, if you've got 50 people who are saving 8 to 12 minutes, my gosh, that opens up a lot of opportunity for more walk-ins and more appointments. So Rapid Pass also encompasses pre-reading, right? The paperwork. So if they don't want to do Rapid Pass, that's fine. Educate, gauge, like Mia was saying, kind of gauge, are they even interested? If they haven't done Rapid Pass, they do have to do the pre-reading. Pre-reading has to be, they have to physically look at it and read it every time, because things may be different in there than when they donated 60, 90, 100 and 16 days ago. So people, tell me if that answered the full question on Rapid Pass.
Almost. There was just one question that was regarding if let me see if I can find it. Should we check them in or hold off until they complete it if they haven't done the Rapid Pass? Because sometimes if they are checked in before they finish it, then the staff call on them quickly, and then they didn't get a chance to finish it. So
Right.
it is my understanding that the donor should not check in until either the rapid pass is finished or the pre-reading has been complete.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one. What do others think about that?
We were told
I've
that
been
they
told
had to
by a
have rapid
lead.
pass done.
I've been told by a lead as well that they should complete rapid pass and then come back to the table to register.
Okay.
That's right. So if the scenario is that they are the first donor, or there's nobody in front of them, and they didn't do the rapid pass, then don't make them do it, because they're gonna be called quickly. They can just do the pre-reading.
Yep.
If there's a wait, like Casey said, there's a couple people in front of them, they're running behind, then yeah, might as well, if they're gonna be sitting there waiting, might as well get the rapid pass done and then check in.
But
So you
there
might
is
have
a
to
caveat to that.
Yes, Mia.
The caveat is that if they came in really close to their appointment time and they're going to sit down and do their rapid pass, it could push them past, so they end up being marked as a walk-in. So you might need to check them in and then have them sit down and just tell them, work through. And if the staff calls them, say they'll call one more person and then come back to them because they're working on their rapid pass.
Right. So that would be like the exception, but it's always a little bit of a case by case. So, if you're new with experience, you'll kind of learn to know, like, okay, we should ask them to do rapid pass, or let's just get them, so they don't waste time. But always ask the charge if you aren't sure about how to proceed.
Yeah, those thought-provoking questions. Yeah.
Yep.
You can probably see smoke coming out of my ears. Very good discussion.
Casey, sorry, this is
Marion.
Marion.
Yeah.
I have a note about, what do you talked about so many things, so now I'm trying to get back to it. One about the downloading, I'm not downloading, the app, the blood app. One thing I've noticed is that, and I use this as part of my, talking to people, when I see that they're giving me their driver's license, my question to them is, oh, you don't have the blood app? And some of them will say, yeah, I do. I said, do you know that your donor card is inside of the app? And some of them don't know that. So so they have the app, but they think that they have to show the driver's license.
Yeah.
So then I use that time to let them know that no, we prefer the donor card. When you come back, this is what you should use, and then kind of going through some of the other things or functions of the app, because they probably just, I don't know exactly what they think that it's for, but they have it. So I always use that when someone tells me or is giving the ID as their driver's license. I would always ask if they have the app. That's
great coachable educational moment. Yeah, that's awesome.
And now with a second part of this is the rapid pass. I always thought at some point we had to, the question itself says, did you complete your rapid pass? At least that's what I thought. And if you didn't complete your rapid pass, you weren't supposed to even be registered. I mean, that's what I thought at some point. That was at least I got it as a directive, but maybe not. But if we're changing it, if that's not a change, because I have, when people do the rapid pass, or is saying, because some of them will come in and say, did you do a rapid pass? Oh, I forgot, I'm doing it now. I don't stop them from doing it because it does save time.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine if they say, oh, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, it's not a requirement to do just rapid pass. They do have the option to read the printed materials.
I know it's one or the other. No, I understand that.
Either way, it has to be done.
Yes, I understand that. But I'm just saying that so if you didn't do the rapid pass, then you had to do the reading, and you weren't, and I got that you weren't supposed to sign them in until they've done one or the other.
That is correct.
That's
That is
correct.
yeah,
Okay.
that is the best practice.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought. That, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for looking for the clarification on that, for sure. Other questions? Good dialogue.
I don't think there's any questions remaining. There's definitely a lot of comments, a lot of suggestions, a lot of good tips that everybody's sharing though. But as far as questions, I believe we have covered them all.
Not bad. We only went
Great.
6 minutes over. And if folks need to drop, we'll hang out for a few more minutes. I see one more hand. Yeah, go ahead, JS. And you should be able to hit the mute
There's
icon.
looks like they put something in the chat.
All right.
Am I right?
Yep. So I've had 2 transgender donors in the past several months. To be respectful, I've put their preferred name, first name on the name tag, smaller, in parentheses underneath their legal ID first name, so it would match when they were called. The donors clearly appreciated the sensitivity. Is that the way you would like it handled? Okay, so you put their preferred name on the name tag. I don't see any issue with that. I think that keep me in check though, folks.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. The name tag is simply a, facilitation friendly, tool, to move the process along and let people feel comfortable speaking to each other. And that's certainly fine. And I think that's a very nice thought of yours. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, very good compassion. One of our 5 C's.
Yep.
Great job. Like I said, we'll hang out for a few minutes.
Yep. There's another question here about name tags. Are they supposed to wear the name tag or hold on to it to give it to the staff? They don't need to give it to the staff. If they want to wear it, that's fantastic. If someone is just not into putting their name tag on, that's not the end of the world either.
I kind of, everybody has their own nuances. I make it like a social thing. I fill out their name and I'm like, hey, everybody has to be nice to you for the rest of the day. I just kind of make it kind of fun and create that like social, like positive peer pressure. And I'm like, here, and they might be a first time donor. So you might want to note on their first time, or if you have Power Red stickers, put the Power Red sticker on there. But I just kind of do it as an expectation and I hand it to them. 90% of the time they put it on. So I just kind of make it it's kind of that human touch,
Yep.
so to speak.
Exactly. It's a communication tool. Yep. It's it is a name tag, the handwritten name tag, the hi, my name is, it is not a requirement for them to be a donor.
That's kind of funny though, because I usually peel the back off and hand it to them, sticky side, and I'm like, here, this is for you.
Hey, if that works for you.
Or every now and then, depending upon where we are at the drive, I'll pull it off and I'll put it onto their shirt. And with a guy, I might pat it down and I'm like, you're a lady. I'm not doing that. You have to pat it down yourself. Which does elicit a laugh.
If that works for you, that's okay too.
Yeah,
I see that JS's hand is still up. JS, was your question or comment addressed? Yes, thanks. Okay. And Lisa, I've been using the beach towel folded up and use it as a seat cushion. I love it, Lisa. I love that innovation again. But I did actually write down the idea for a seat cushion giveaway. That's not a bad idea.
I could tell you, as someone with degenerative discs, I love a comfortable chair when I'm out in public. I notice it right away. Excellent. Well, if we forgot anything, reach out to your rep individually. Otherwise, we'll just hang out if you want to shoot the breeze. If you were not comfortable speaking up, I'll go ahead and stop the recording and feel free to hang out or leave. We hope that you found this useful, and thank you all for your time, your talent, your expertise. All right, so we'll stop the recording.
Being a donor ambassador